So as ever, there's only people that are like, why are you focusing on this news for the PlayStation VR2 new? Truth is, as ever, there really isn't anything else interesting to talk about it really. Other than the fact that obviously we had the PC update coming soon. This was a July or June 24th article. And there's just nothing else. There's no exclusive games coming up. There's nothing else to talk about other than the PC support. Another report of good news for PlayStation VR2, I'm afraid. Sony is getting ready to release a tethered PC VR support, as I mentioned already. It's now for this summer. I think it's August specifically. That counts as summer, but that may be one of the last meaningful things the company does for its VR hardware. It said increasingly latchkey. I looked up latchkey and I didn't really understand what I meant by that, even after reading the meaning. So I just didn't highlight it. But still mentioned it, I guess. So I guess it still worked out for them. We're on roadtovr.com. Typically we're using roadtovr.com and mixed-news.com for giving credits. So if you want to read further more and come up to your own conclusions of certain things, I'm on the right piece here. I think I am, yeah. Anyway, according to a report by Android Central's Nicholas Sutrich, Sony isn't leaving any budget for first-party content. Paraphrasing for anonymity, Sutrich's source maintains there will be very few opportunities for VR game development at Sony going forward. Citing a separate source with knowledge of Sony's internal strategy, the report alleges only 2 PlayStation VR2 games are currently in development at Sony, which is 2 more than I hoped for and even knew about. So I mean, at least that's something, right? At Sony, the company hasn't responded to a report at the time of this writing, and it hasn't been updated since, so they still haven't responded apparently, or unless I missed it. If you guys know any different, do share it in the comments there, because we're on the various platforms, so that we can be more aware of what's going on at Team Blue. While PlayStation VR2 owners are still getting a number of highly anticipated games this year, such as Skydance's Behemoth and Alien Rogue Incursion, which both were shown in their State of Play, which just basically was a very poor showing for it was just generally poor, wasn't it? It was a very, very average bunch of live service stuff and not much else really, aside from like Silent Hill 2 and I think another one. Behemoth was cool, obviously looking as well. Alien didn't show much. Anyway, Zombie Army VR and Metro Awakening, all of these are not exclusive, by the way, so you can get them on the PC. I haven't seen Rogue Incursion entry for the Steam one yet. I've seen, I think, Zombie Army and Metro Awakening and Behemoth have Steam versions available, which you can therefore play on the Quest free. I know people are going to say about, some people say that the PlayStation VR2 is more blurry to them, or the lens is better on this one or that one, so you can still take your pick, but that is what it is. To name a few, the headset has been missing out on first-party anchor content for some time now. These require Sony's funding and ongoing interest in VR to accomplish, something that seems to have faltered since the headset's launch in February 2023. To boot, the list PlayStation VR2's first-party content hasn't changed in a year, which includes Horizon Call of Mountain, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and Gran Turismo 7. Some of those are big hitters, but yeah, many of them are big hitters to be fair, but it hasn't been anything new since. Instead of showing off a state of exclusive content to mark its first year anniversary back in February, Sony said announced it was going to officially support PlayStation support PC VR games with the launch of an adapter box coming in August for another dollar amount, in this case $60. PC support won't include a number of features unique to PlayStation VR2 though, including HDR, which Steam VR does support, so it's kind of weird that that's not in there. People have said that the headset feedback, eye tracking, adaptive triggers, and haptic feedback are not on any of the PC stuff, so that's why it's not support. Why is HDR turned off as well then? That's kind of a weird one to admit from the whole thing. The move comes in stark contrast to Sony's prior strategy with the original PlayStation VR, which pushed compelling first-party content through 2018 with the launch of critically acclaimed platformer Astro Bot Rescue Mission. Notably, Astro Bot Rescue Mission was never updated with the PlayStation VR2. Meanwhile, its upcoming sequel, Astro Bot, is skipping VR support completely, which I didn't actually even catch on. I knew it was a mascot, obviously, and I played with the mascot on the Sony machines. I didn't realize it actually started live when I first did the reaction of the PlayStation State of Play. I didn't realize it was actually also originally a character from the PlayStation VR 1 device, which is kind of interesting and funny and sad all at once. Some of this, no doubt, comes down to cost savings. Earlier this year, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan, he's left now, hasn't he, announced a wide-reaching layoff round affecting a number of first-party game studios. This included the closure of Sony's London studio, known for VR action adventure game Blood and Truth. I think people have mentioned they wasn't making a VR game at the time that they got cancelled. I think it might have been them. And reductions at Firesprite, the studio behind Horizon Call of the Mountain. So it's just, see, again, it's really hard to find any good news on the PlayStation VR 2. You either find no news, which is good news in PlayStation VR 2's case, or you find mixed news with the PC support, or no news. because asking you guys about it, you've had mixed feelings here and there. It really depends on your circumstances as far as how useful the PC edition is to you, especially if you have a Quest 3 already, and even a Quest 2 to some degree. It's kind of like, it's a lot of comments on this one. So let's check out some of the comments here. And we've got it sorted the best already. So Tony VT Scarred Ghost, spelled wrong, probably because it was already taken. Says PSVR2 is not going very well as a platform, and that's a pity, and that's true. 100% agree with that. It's actually a shame. It's not like it's fun to report this stuff. I'm waiting for good new stuff. I've been away cooking away at content and stuff for the VR channel here. Come back and there's not much for PlayStation VR2 at all, other than more bad news in a way, or at least confirming news already kind of thought. I've got a mixed response here. It says 11 likes on that one, no dislikes. This one's got 2 likes, 2 dislikes, 2 likes and 2 dislikes. Perhaps in the future they could consider adding an option to connect wireless headsets to PlayStation. But a couple of people say the wireless thing. I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be like that's going to be like a whole device, I'd say. Whereas now Quest connects to PC, or even create a standalone VR MR headset, which would be PC placed. There's no way they're going to invest more money in that way. Not happening. I don't think it's going to happen. If they're already cutting costs on the VR2, they're going to make another device. Let's get another high-rated one. 6 likes, no dislikes on the thumbs up here. This is by Dr. Bambi, who is a doctor of Bambis, aka Deers. The ongoing implosion of this late-stage gaming industry has, in the mind of this VR nerd, no greater tragedy than that of the PlayStation VR2. It deserved better. We deserved better. Sony completely dropped the ball on this one. Yeah, it's kind of rough. So sponsor's got a good amount of, but it's kind of big. So it's from Phil. How do you get that name without having put 1,000 numbers beside it? Yeah, it's a reflection of being owned by a company that is ran almost exclusively with profit, which is where Sony's changed since 2019. I believe they became Americanized proper. PlayStation, I should say. But supporting growth in innovative markets like VR is no longer seen as a strategy that will keep the shareholders happy. I have little doubt that the launch of PlayStation VR2 involved quite a bit of internal political wrangling at Sony. I felt like Sony Japan had developed the headset and primed it for launch, but SCI California had little intention of supporting it with any serious money. It's a big comment. It's a good comment though, I'd say. Jumping forward to the end, it's a shame, but at this stage I'm not too worried. As it does have a future, it's just not the one I envisioned when I bought one at launch. Those excuses still make it worthwhile purchase for me. When it's on sale, that is. It's just fair points, yeah. I mean, you're still going to get... There's going to be scenarios where I choose opt for the PlayStation VR2 version of games, depending on certain aspects of things, especially if it's a case of Quest native versus, because I don't really go around on trains playing the Quest, nothing like that, or on planes. So typically, if it's going to be like, sometimes sometimes the best version can be the PlayStation VR2, despite their lack of support for aspects of it. And so yeah, PC wise, I can't, unless it looks better, it's probably still going to end up going with the Quest 3 or something. All right, let's see what Name Kusijin has to say. Until 2008, dreams came later and funding was always there for indies and big ports like Hitman entire trilogy in 2021. Funding is more important than first party proper, but still a shame for a device that was supposed to be the savior of VR. Instead, Quest is the one to be regularly bringing big games like Asgard's Wrath 2, AC Nexus, Batman Arkham Shadows, Medal of Honor, Grid Legends, etc. Four ticks on that one, or up votes on that one. Yeah, what do you guys think? Is this just more of the same, nothing new? It's all I could find in 20 days. This was 20 days ago, and it's all I could find for the PlayStation VR2 representation for the podcast, unless you're watching this separately as a segment, in which case the full episode will be linked in the places where it can be linked, because we are multi-platform agnostic. But on the YouTubes for sure, I think probably there'll be a link in if it was on Facebook as well, in Spotify and what have you. No, Spotify would add the whole thing. You get the idea. Let me know wherever you are what you think of this. Do you care about them having first party stuff? Does it matter to you? Are you happy as long as you can play all the stuff via the PC connection now? And it's just this kind of like no biggie, nothing new, but wish there was better news type of thing. Could be worse, but could be better, I think, is the finishing line for this particular part of the conversations. You're watching a segment from the JustVRGaming podcast, and I appreciate it. If you want to get the full context, watch the full episode, and support more content like this, then do check out the full episodes via the links in the pinned comment, description, and any other valid places. If you're watching on places like Spotify or Apple, don't forget to rate the podcast the highest rating you think it deserves to help more people find it and to encourage the juicers to make even more. A subscribe and a like is also a great thing to do if you're watching on YouTube. We appreciate you.